Welcome to Doctors on Call. I'm Jenna Miller. Good oral care is one of the most important daily habits a human being should practice each day. Did you know the average American spends nearly 39 total days brushing their teeth over a lifetime? And while that means the average person spends 45 to 70 seconds a day brushing their teeth, the recommended amount of time is 2 to 3 minutes. So it's no wonder nearly 80% of Americans have had at least one cavity by the age of 17. So what can you do to protect your dental health? Today on Doctors on Call, we'll learn more about dental health and how it's important in preserving your overall health with Dr. Eric Johnson and Dr. Gregory Johnson.
Presentation of Doctors on Call on Smoky Hills PBS is made possible in part by an underwriting grant from Gove County Medical Center in Quinter. Healing through caring. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas, serving approximately 950,000 Kansans in various programs. A value Kansans trust. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
Russell Regional Hospital, experts, neighbors, friends.
Welcome back to Doctors on Call. Our topic tonight is dental health. Dr. Eric Johnson received his dental degree from the University of Missouri Kansas City School of Dentistry. His practice is located within Ad Astra Family Dentistry in Topeka and is a member of the American Dental Association, Kansas Dental Association, and the Topeka District Dental Society. Dr. Gregory Johnson received his dental degree from the University of Missouri Kansas City School of Dentistry. His practice is located within Ad Astra Dentistry in Topeka and is also a member of the American Dental Association, Kansas Dental Association, and the Topeka District Dental Society. Give us a call at 1-800-337-4788 toll-free with your medical questions about dental and oral health on Doctors on Call. Our show brings you information which may be useful to you when you visit your own physician or dentist. Thank you so much for making the drive out this way to be on our show tonight. Let's first talk about what someone should look for when they are selecting a dentist.
Absolutely. Well, when you're looking for a dentist, there's a number of things you can look for. You can look for a dentist that's close to home, close to work. You can look for a dentist that takes the insurance you're provided through an employer. But really, what you want to be looking for is a dentist that you want to build a relationship. Whether that's you and the dentist or your family and the dentist, you want to be looking for an entire team that you can trust and build a relationship with.
So what kind of questions should a person ask when they come? Should you feel like they should come directly to the dentist and ask them the questions?
Yes. Again, that relationship that Eric described is really important through not only the dentist but also the supportive team members also. And so trust and hopefully there's been some good referrals or good recommendations also from friends and family that would support that trust too already.
Excellent. How often should a person pay a visit to the dentist?
Well, by the common book, it's every 6 months or more frequently if there's needs like gum disease or active tooth decay that need examined or treated more often.
What about what symptoms may cause concern that they might need an additional trip to the dentist?
Levels of discomfort would certainly create an indicator, some swelling, things that are just not comfortable to the patient. They should let us know about that right away.
Excellent. Now, in the intro we were talking a little bit about tooth brushing. Mm-hmm. What are some of the pros and cons of using an electric toothbrush?
I love electric toothbrushes. I definitely prefer the kind that are rechargeable so that every time you set them down, they're powering back up and you don't have to worry about AA or AAA batteries going dead on you. The best thing we see for adults and kids is that they have a built-in timer. They run for that magical 2 minutes, and you can spend the bare minimum on an entry-level electric toothbrush or get a bells and models whistle, and we see they all do a really good job.
Are there any common mistakes that people make when they are brushing their teeth?
Not spending enough time doing it is the main thing. Also being accurate with the position of your brush to focus on that gum line aspect of the tooth and working your way carefully around the corners and spending the 2 minutes that you've already described.
And definitely being cognizant not to brush too hard. Sometimes over-aggressive brushing can be hard on the gum tissue, producing recession and abrasion at the gum line, and sometimes the electric toothbrushes will take the guesswork out of that as well.
Okay, great information. We're going to go to the phone lines. We've got a
Nice.
caller
Okay, right.
waiting to ask a question. This is Pat on the line from Codell. Hi, Pat. Go ahead with your question for our dentist tonight.
Hi, my husband is having some problems with his teeth, and he has had a tooth that has basically just fallen apart, and they're suggesting an implant. I am wondering two things. What is the difference between an implant and a false tooth, and why does it cost so much? Thank you.
That's a good question, Pat, and we actually have a model right here that does a good job of showing that we share with our patients. So for instance, if a tooth needs to be removed, if it is breaking down, that tooth could be a source of tooth decay and infection, and if the tooth is removed, it can easily be done so. What an implant is an implant is made up of three components: the implant itself that gets threaded into the bone. Usually there'll be an integration period where the tooth is removed, some healing time is needed for the bone to fill in, the implant will be placed, and then an integration time for the bone to heal around the threads. And then the tooth that sits atop of it is often connected to the implant with an abutment. And so there's three components to the tooth, Pat: the implant, the abutment, and the crown that goes above it. With an implant, you have the cost of the abutment, the cost of placement. A lot of times the abutments that are placed that perform best are a custom-made abutment to make the fit of the crown adapt to the gum tissue as ideally as possible. And an implant will give you a more natural function of that tooth because you can floss in between and treat it most like a natural tooth. And her question also was maybe about an option. Is that
I think so. Is that correct, Pat?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
My sorry.
Absolutely. But another option, a great option, if for some reason a bridge is a better idea to go to pursue, if an implant can't be placed due to the nerve anatomy in the lower jaw or the sinus anatomy in the upper jaw, a bridge is a great option as well. With the bridge, you do have to clean underneath, but it is permanent also and cemented in place. And so I would tell Pat to ask questions in the dental chair about both routes, because there isn't one route that's best. It's got to be the one that's best for your husband.
And she had also inquired about the cost.
That's right, yeah. You know, definitely the components involved give it the cost for sure. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. We're going to go back to the phone lines. We've got Savannah on the line from La Crosse. Hi, Savannah. Go ahead with your question for Dr. Johnson's tonight.
Good evening. My question is about using charcoal toothpaste. I wonder, I heard it, but in black toothpaste, really, and it's pretty bad. So the benefits of the charcoal outweigh the benefits.
Did you guys catch any of that?
I did not,
did
Savannah.
not.
Yeah,
I
we were
thought
having
tooth decay and maybe a darker appearance.
Okay.
Okay, we're not sure, Savannah, if we quite caught your question. You're kind of breaking in and out. I don't know if you want to try one more time with your question. Maybe call back and we'll try to get your question, because you were really cutting in and out. We could not get most of that question.
Sure.
You thought you had heard something.
I know Savannah mentioned tooth decay and a dark appearance maybe near the gum line, but sure be happy to answer that
Yeah.
if we
Sorry
get
about
that
that.
clarified.
Okay, let's talking about the implant. Does that end up being just as strong as a natural tooth?
I would say yes. It's the natural tooth has a little bit of give to it, just a slight amount, but the implant is very solid. Yeah, it'd feel very natural.
Okay, and before the calls we were discussing about toothbrushing. What types of toothpaste are most effective?
I like to tell my patients to look for one that has the ADA seal of approval. Every toothpaste approved by the ADA does have fluoride in it, and so you're looking for that remineralization benefit that fluoride can provide damaged areas of enamel. In our diet today, whether it's coffee or tea or other beverages, they're often high in acidity. And really, fluoride's one of the best ways we can fend off the breakdown effects of acidity. Also, be cognizant there are many different kinds of whitening toothpaste, sensitivity toothpaste, and I like to tell patients to think of toothpaste like a sandpaper grit. There are the whitening toothpaste are designed to remove superficial stain. The sensitive type toothpaste are often more gentle on the gums and tissue, and so pick one that works best for you and doesn't leave your teeth sensitive.
Okay. We've got Savannah back on the line, so we're
all
going to try to
good.
give this a go again. Savannah, you are back on live. Go ahead with your question.
Okay, can you hear me?
It's a little better. We'll give it a try.
I'm wondering about using charcoal toothpaste. I've kind of started using that and wasn't sure. It makes a pretty big mess, and I didn't know if the benefits outweigh the mess.
We have gotten a number of questions on charcoal, and so as we just mentioned, the different abrasiveness ratings of toothpaste, charcoal's going to be quite a ways up there. So I think you're getting a more, with charcoal toothpaste, they're definitely focused on the abrasiveness. And so we tell patients, be sure you know it's not endorsed by the ADA. You're not getting the benefit of fluoride when you brush with that, and that it's going to be quite similar to sodium bicarbonate or brushing with baking soda, which can be pretty harsh on the teeth as well. And so use with caution, and I think your dentist would probably prefer you use a fluoridated toothpaste to get that benefit.
Okay. What about mouthwash? How important is that?
Mouth rinses or mouthwash are a supplemental approach to healthcare, dental health care. However, it's probably not primarily needed unless we're needing some medicinal benefit. There are some antimicrobial rinses that are beneficial for specific needs, but in general, if the patient feels or the public feels more comfortable doing that, it's okay to do it, but just something that does not contain alcohol that might dry or desiccate the mouth a bit. So that'd be the point of emphasis there.
Okay. We were talking about implants earlier. I wanted to discuss dentures and what a person might have to, first of all, maybe how a person can prevent themselves from having to get to that point, but then if they are at that point, how that works.
That's a good question. Dentures are quite a transition process for a patient to go through. A lot of times patients in need of dentures have experienced quite a bit of tooth breakdown, either due to broken or cracked teeth or advanced gum disease throughout. We do see tooth decay lead to dentures if it's rampant and untreated. But the biggest way to avoid dentures is to listen to your body and any discomfort you're having. If you're having pain, see your dentist. And just know that any problem, whether it's a small cavity or a cracked tooth, addressing that problem right then and there and not prolonging treatment is the best way to keep your teeth.
Let's talk about those cavities. What are they and how do you manage them?
Tooth decay is, as we mentioned earlier, is caused by a development of acidity on the teeth that demineralizes the enamel. And once that demineralization penetrates the enamel and is present in the dentin, well, then we do have a cavity that needs treatment. And so that treatment could be anything from a filling to a crown or hopefully not much more beyond that, because there are good tooth replacement options, but the best option is your own natural tooth.
Has the technology improved as far as filling a cavity?
It has. You know, we have ways of bonding filling materials to teeth that have grown in strength over the last couple years. Tooth-colored fillings, ceramic materials that can be made in office that day instead of having to be outsourced to a lab. But there is no replacing the tried and true. Metal crowns perform and last a long time. So do metal fillings. And so it's important to recognize which material might be best for which patient, and part of that is kind of interviewing your patients and asking them about their dental habits.
Now, I know you are neither one orthodontist, but braces seem to be now not just for kids. They're, a lot of adults are getting them. Let's talk about how to take care of, and not getting cavities, I guess, while you have braces.
The principle of home care is the same for those of us that don't have orthodontic care. However, it takes more due diligence, and there's other implements that, besides brushing and flossing, there's soft picks, there's ways to clean between the brackets and wires, and we implement more fluoridation on those teeth due to the special toothpaste or rinses that would help prevent that decay rate, because it is a big problem if left unchecked.
And can you get cavities underneath the braces?
Definitely, yeah, it can certainly happen, and we hate to see that happen, as we would anybody who has tooth decay.
How necessary are dental x-rays, and are they safe for all individuals?
Great question. We get asked that a lot. They are extremely safe, and the nice thing about digital x-rays is that we can gain the same image, quality image, with a far less dosage of radiation to get that image. And when you see a patient for the first time, we want to be able to examine both inside and outside the mouth closely, outside and inside the teeth as well. And so we're able to look for pathologies of the teeth, the bone, and it gives us a great ability to find the information we need to see.
Then after that, how often is it necessary to get x-rays of your teeth?
That's a good question. It ranges. If there's active disease, it may be more frequent. If we're monitoring or in a pattern of good health, it may be on the yearly checkup x-rays. So on average, you can expect to get checkup x-rays maybe once a year of the back teeth, a full mouth series or pano every 5 years. And for certain situations, we do even have 3D imaging technology as well to help us see the anatomy within the lower jaw, the sinuses, impacted teeth, or placement of implants can be helped along with guided surgery as well.
And we were talking a little bit before the show about the radiation involved in the x-rays, and that's much less than it used to be?
It is, yeah. It is quite less. We think hard about each x-ray we prescribe because that is something we factor into what we're exposed to. A lot of times we'll compare the amount of radiation we might receive in a CT scan going to the ER. It's far less than that, for sure. But even though it's a very nominal dose, we are specifically prescribing what we hope to be the perfect films and x-rays for each patient.
And when should a child first see a dentist? The American Dental Association would prefer 9 months or a lap exam if possible at that time, just to make sure everybody's up to speed as far as parents or the children, and just see what their acceptability is. But a lap exam really is beneficial. We can get a glimpse at the child's teeth most often, and be able to make sure that home care and diet is being followed as well as it can be, and at least they have a nice experience to start with too. When we were talking earlier about the fluoridated toothpaste, is there any there's some concern, I know, among parents about using fluoridated toothpaste for their very small children. Is there any danger in that?
At that young of an age, it's probably not essential that they do that. A lot of times on the young children, we're cleaning their teeth with just a brush and water, or even a washcloth. Sometimes we can graduate into a small amount of fluoridation in the toothpaste. Yeah.
They're even as accurate as trying to describe, up until the age of 6, it needs to be a rice-size amount of toothpaste on the toothbrush. It does not need to be much, and they don't want to swallow it. And so, definitely use carefully.
Absolutely. How often do you recommend that teeth be professionally cleaned?
It can range from every 3 to 6 months. If there's active periodontal disease, it's most commonly going to be 3 months. And if things are fairly healthy and we're not suspecting of any disease, it's usually about every 6 months.
Okay, excellent. Now let's talk about what are sealants and who should get them.
We have a good example here.
Okay, excellent.
Sealants are generally placed on not always deciduous, but mostly permanent molars, first and second molars, occasionally deciduous teeth, but primarily the adult molars. We'd like to capture those sealants, which is I don't know if this will show on the camera, but here's an unsealed tooth, and a tooth has had a sealant, and we're trying to prevent the formation of tooth decay in the most prone area that the decay can form. And so these are 6-year molars, or also called first molars. We'd like to be sealing those soon after that time that they erupt. And so that eruption time is critical.
Towards this
okay,
camera.
I'm sorry.
Right there.
That's
Yeah,
the one
there we
right
go.
there. Okay, my bad.
No, that's okay.
So anyway, this would be the sealant after it's placed, and it's a bonded little filling that doesn't require any preparation. We just make sure the area is perfectly clean. We create a bonding surface and then flow just in the groove, so it's just seals bacteria and food from getting packed into the most prone area to form decay. And then we do that again on second molars most often, and families usually agree to that recommendation.
You have a couple other models here. I want to be sure to get those in if you had something that you would like to discuss on those.
So this is a model that we use in our office to describe what's going on when a patient has TMJ or jaw pain.
Okay.
That can manifest in stiffness of the musculature, the ligaments around the TM joint. It can manifest in neck pain. It can manifest in clicking or popping in the jaw. And where that resides is where the lower jaw hinges with the base of the skull. And so when we open, our jaw begins to rotate in that axis. When we open great big or yawn, the jaw translates forward in that manner. And so when the teeth aren't in proper bite, when we clench our teeth, when there's overactivity of the musculature, we can experience all kinds of symptoms that can be very debilitating to a patient who wakes up and begins their day with a headache. That's not fun. And so we can manage those symptoms by either creating a night guard that puts the teeth in proper alignment at night, or we can properly balance the teeth so they might fit together better. But it is a whole multitude of symptoms, and a lot of times when a patient has a very simple dental procedure done, even being open wide for a cleaning, that might fatigue or flare up TMJ. A simple filling, a new crown, can sometimes bring forth symptoms of TMJ that they've been living with comfortably up until that point. And so we see TMJ all the time.
Interesting. Now this one, we have just a few minutes left.
Yeah. Well, this is our toothbrushing model that will let kids brush, and just demonstrating all the surfaces that need cleaned. And they have a good time with that, for sure.
Excellent. Don't want to stick your finger in that.
That's right. Yeah.
Let's talk about real quick the difference between periodontal disease and gingivitis.
Gingivitis is probably a condition that most everybody who has natural teeth has on the surface of their gum tissue. There might be bleeding, there might be some inflammation that's a little bit beyond bleeding, but periodontal disease goes down below the gum line, where there's actually been a change in the supporting bone around each tooth, or some of the teeth. And so when we see that on an x-ray, when you asked about x-rays and the importance of that, that's another very important thing that we read on the x-rays. If we see that occurring, then we can determine that there's periodontal disease. There might even be some tartar buildup down on those root surfaces. So we don't want that bone to diminish around the teeth, nor do we want the bacteria that cause periodontal disease to get into the bloodstream of the body and go to different parts of the body, because that's been a real health issue also. So, as Eric mentioned earlier, we do try to maintain and control that disease factor by having the patients have their teeth cleaned more frequently than perhaps those of us that just have gingivitis only.
Interesting. I'm going to go back a little bit. We were talking about the crown tooth. Does it require any special care, a crowned tooth?
You want to treat it just like a brand new tooth. Brush, floss. Where a crown may be vulnerable to tooth decay is at its margins, where the margins of the tooth are. And so it can be, bridges, for instance, are vulnerable in the areas underneath the pontic near the abutment sites. And so whether it's a brand new healthy tooth, crown or bridge, give it the same care. Brushing, flossing, and avoiding sticky foods.
All right. Well, we want to thank our guests tonight, Dr. Eric Johnson and Dr. Gregory Johnson, for being our guests from Topeka. It took a little bit of a drive to get here, so we appreciate that. On our next Doctors on Call, we'll discuss pain management. You can email your questions to us for our next program at doctors@shptv.org. Thank you for joining us. For Doctors on Call, I'm Jenna Miller.
Presentation of Doctors on Call on Smoky Hills PBS is made possible in part by an underwriting grant from Gove County Medical Center in Quinter, healing through caring. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas, serving approximately 950,000 Kansans in various programs. A value Kansans trust. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
Russell Regional Hospital. Experts, neighbors, friends.